tints, PPF, get more qualified leads that obviously turn into customers so you guys make more money. So with this specific mechanism, we were able to attract high quality leads to my auto styling shop that I'm working with. And over the past month, got them over $10,000 in additional wrap and tint. So really what it came down to was three simple things. It came down to a solid offer, filtering out the time wasters, and nurturing slash following up with people that were interested. But before I get into exactly what we did, what I want to explain is why do most auto styling shops stay stuck between 7 to 15K? And it usually comes down to three things that they have when it comes to getting in clients and or customers. Usually comes from referrals, word of mouth, and customers that reach out occasionally do Facebook and DMs or through a Google search. The problem with that is that you have inconsistent amount of work. So you're stuck either between doing 3 to 15 cars, that should be a month, and you're doing all the work yourself. So you have a helper, maybe it's just yourself, one other person that use a contract on the side, but really you're the person that is in charge of the sales, the marketing, whether you're doing door to door, giving your cards out, or just posting on social media. And what tends to happen is when you don't have enough customers, you start lowering your price or you get a bunch of time wasters coming in. So you really don't have a real mechanism to bring in qualified leads. Like I said earlier, leading to inconsistent months, low revenue. Maybe you get high revenue one month, but then the next month is nowhere near. If you look over here, the shops that are doing 15K plus, their attention is elsewhere. They're not worried about where their leads are coming from because they have a mechanism in place. So usually they start off with high converting content. They're not only running Meta, but they're also running Google ads. They still get referrals, but mainly the bread and butter is going to be from Meta or Google ads. Neither one is better than the other. It really comes down to what you're willing to get. So for example, with Meta ads, you'll get a lot of leads. Sometimes they're unqualified, but there's ways to work around it. Whereas Google ads, you're going to spend a lot more upfront, but you'll spend a lot more per cost per lead. But what's going to happen is that the lead is going to be a lot more qualified because they're searching for you. The shops are doing 50K a month. They're doing over 15 cars a week, focusing on growing the business rather than working on it. Because a lot of shops that are currently stuck with inconsistent months, they're spending a lot of time working in the business rather than growing it. So the mindset of a $50,000 auto styling shop is focused on sales and marketing. That's the main two things that's actually going to grow their business. The rest, they have an admin, they have salespeople, and they have 2 to 3 installers that are helping them get to that next level, because they took their time away from installing and they're focusing on growing the business. And they're focusing on increasing the average order value. So let's just say somebody came in for a tint and they were looking to get some basic tint that was $150, give or take, but they upsold them to a ceramic tint, which is way better. And instead of the average order value being $150, it's now $250. All in all, like I was saying earlier, they have a mechanism that brings them qualified leads, leading to predictable months. So the focus is entirely different than a shop that has inconsistent months. They're focused on how to systemize the business to run it effective and efficiently, focused on growing their sales and a sales team to sell customers, essentially. They're focusing on positioning and marketing their business as a solution rather than the option. Like I was saying earlier, it comes down from a solid offer, filtering, and nurturing. So if you look over here, we got top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. And basically with top of funnel, this is people that are seeing your ad for the first time. They really don't know what your service is, but the job with the ads is to capture the attention of somebody that is new to your service. And they might have been looking for a wrap, they might have been looking for a tint, they might have been looking for PPF, but they're not actively searching. It's just in the back of their mind. So you just want to throw the ad in front of them, get their attention. They might look at your page, and from there, what we would do is retarget them with a different ad, providing more education to the customer, basically explaining them the benefits and essentially the outcome of your service. So let's just say somebody's coming in for a PPF and they're thinking about it, but they're on the fence. what we can do is re-trigger them through middle of funnel content and explain to them, like, if you got a new car within the past 3 years and you want to protect it from like rock chips, you don't want it to get scratched up, PPF is the best solution out there to protect your car from the weather conditions. And this is going to capture their attention and they will fill out the form. And the last thing is going to become bottom of funnel. So bottom of funnel is basically on a customer who's on the fence but needs a little bit of push just to actually go and purchase your service. So this is going to come from a testimonial. This is going to come from you explaining your service and creating way more trust with your customers. So one thing you can do is show a customer came in from another shop because they had a bad experience. Maybe the wrap that they got, the tint that they got was poor quality, poorly installed. And you show your shop as the solution and the fix to the shop that messed up. You're going to be way more trusted and that person will come through. What we did was a full tint plus a free visor tint, and it's going to get the customer interested and eventually book in because they're like, okay, I'm getting into tint for this price and they're also including something free. This is going to pique the interest of the customer. Once they filter through, then what we do is we filter out the time wasters. So if somebody fills out a form and they say, I'm not interested yet, I'll be interested in the next 3 months, we have really no business contacting them. Some shops will want to keep reaching out to them, but I preferably like to have somebody that's interested within the next month, maybe 2 months max. But obviously it depends on if it's a high ticket service like wrap, if it's going over $3,000, most shops wouldn't mind waiting 3 months. But if it's a tint lead, these customers want to get their tint done ASAP. They want to get it done within the next couple weeks. So it really depends on your offer and who you're attracting. Lastly, what's needed in place once a lead is captured and they're interested and they want to get in contact with your shop is that you have to have a system that follows up with them automatically, because a lot of times shops will lose out on customers simply because of the fact they're not responding fast enough. And I get it, you're busy doing an install, your guys are busy doing an install. What we need in place is an automated system to be able to text your lead, notify your team that, hey, a lead's interested, call them within the next 5 minutes. It's so crucial. In that case, simple text goes a long way. Something as simple as saying, hey, this is so-and-so from XYZ Services. I noticed you were interested in getting a ceramic tint for your car. Is that still the case? All we need is a simple yes, because then this will show the interest, give them a call, and get them scheduled in. But for some reason, let's just say the person is busy because we all have lives, we got stuff we get distracted by. It's important that you send multiple texts. You want to send a text 24 hours later saying, hey, just bumping this up. Notice that you haven't responded. Was getting a tint still on your priority? And here's the automated system that we have in place that will send a text and just continue to send text until the person says, no, I'm not interested, F off. And then at least we know we've contacted them to the best of our ability and it wasn't anything that we were missing that made the lead fall through the crack. Like I mentioned to you earlier, this video is going to be quick, but this is the exact system that we were able to use to help this auto styling shop add an additional $10,000 in revenue. So if you're an auto styling shop, whether you do wraps, tint, PPF, ceramic coating, even detailing, and you want to get more qualified leads that turn into customers to actually be able to grow your shop, I want you to head over to my IG, comment audit, and we'll take an exact look at what's happening with your business